Hello everyone, Weather Jamaica here. Welcome to this updated video on weather across Jamaica and the rest of the Caribbean. It is 12:26 a.m. Saturday morning, July 27, 2024. I apologize for the late video. We usually post these in the evening hours, and I have a good excuse. There was definitely quite the power outage in my area, considering this tropical wave right here that definitely pushed in from east to west across portions of the island and brought a lot of strong winds, gust fronts here and there, thunderstorms that lashed portions of the island and causing power outages that we definitely didn't need at this time at all. Before we even jump into it some more, please ensure that you guys like this video. If you don't know by now, that's how the YouTube algorithm works. We all like the video, and then the YouTube algorithm pushes the video out to more persons during the path of these tropical systems so we can keep everyone safe, especially during the peak of Atlantic hurricane season. That's August through to October. Share this video with your friends, your co-workers, your relatives, and even your church brethren, and subscribe if you haven't yet done so. Leave a comment down below letting me know what that's been like in your area recently. Also, feel free to ask any weather related question that you might have about the future of the weather in your specific area. Alright, so let us take a look at the U.S. National Hurricane Center 7-day graphical tropical weather outlook. So we can see that this update just came out at 1:04 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time, which is actually 12:04 a.m. Jamaica time, and they still have that area highlighted across the main development region into the Caribbean for a 20% chance of cyclone formation within the next 7 days. And we've been talking about this on our other social media platforms. They've stated here, an area of disturbed weather over the central tropical Atlantic Ocean is expected to interact with an approaching tropical wave during the next several days. Some development of this system is possible while it approaches the Lesser Antilles during the early to middle part of next week and moves generally west-northwestward near the Greater Antilles towards the latter part of next week. So we can see that they've given it a 0% chance of cyclone formation within the next 48 hours, that's the next 2 days, and a 20% chance of cyclone formation within the next 7 days. Cyclone formation, we're talking about maybe tropical depression, tropical storm, or even hurricane. Either way, it has a low chance, but it still has a chance, so it could develop later down the road. And we know the next name on the list is Debbie, so we in Jamaica we need to definitely stay alert. And if we take a look at the reason why they've highlighted it, they've definitely been looking at the supercomputer models, but we're just going to be looking at the Euro model right here and the GFS model right here from the United States. So the Euro model, that's the ECMWF model, we're just going to be going out to the next 168 hours, that's the next 7 days, just like what the Hurricane Center will do. And we're going to be focusing our attention on this part of the world right here where the system is expected to come in. And we're going to be looking for these, the greens, the yellows that represent some amount of a rainfall increase. And we're going to be looking at the time period at the top as well. So let's start going out in time, and we're going to be seeing the greens coming in from the main development region that represents the tropical wave. Here it is coming into portions of the Leeward Islands by 15Z on Wednesday, July 31. 15Z when calculated, that's about 10 a.m. on Wednesday. Then the system definitely pushes westward into portions of the Greater Antilles, so Haiti, Dominican Republic, Cuba, Jamaica, and this is about 0Z on Friday, which is actually 7 p.m. on Thursday. And then we see that it definitely pushes itself into portions of the Western Caribbean by the time we get into 0Z on Sunday, which is actually 7 p.m. on Saturday. But let us compare to what the GFS is showing, because we know we have to look at what both of them are showing. We have to see the consensus, the agreement with these systems. So if we actually go out in time, we'll definitely see what's going to be happening. As a matter of fact, we can see a kind of curvature to the contour lines right here associated with the ridge of high pressure. But we do see the greens represent the moisture So this system should definitely be here across a portion of the Leeward Islands by 12Z on Wednesday, which is actually 7 a.m. on Wednesday. Then we continue to go out in time, and we see a lot of moisture around Jamaica, Cuba, Haiti by around 18Z on Friday, August 2, which is actually 1 p.m. on Friday. 18Z is 1 p.m. Lots of yellows in there as well, closer to Cuba, that represents some heavy rainfall. Greens, some amount of rainfall as well. Then the system should be to the west of the island by about, let's say, late Saturday, Sunday, right there. So we see the contrast, we see the differences with where the system should be, and we see that it is not even going to be making it up to a possible tropical storm or hurricane status in terms of intensity, but we have to stay alert just in case. We know the intensity forecast is not these models' strong suit, because they've been wrong so many times in the past, highlighting maybe a weak system, and then who knows, it jumps up to a major hurricane or whatever the case may be. So let's hope these models are actually showing what's to come, more so if not a strong tropical wave, maybe a tropical depression or a weak tropical storm. Either way, this is what we don't want to see, like what we're seeing here across the Eastern Pacific at that time, with the L that represents an air flow pressure, and the 991 millibars that represents the air pressure, and the amount of greens and yellows circulating around the isobars and the contour lines. That's what we don't want to see across the Caribbean, and we didn't see it, but we definitely saw the amount of moisture, and we'll definitely take the rainfall, especially those persons who are trying to beat the heat, trying to stay cool. Unfortunately, there are still some persons who don't have a roof over their heads, all courtesy of Beryl. Hopefully, we all get that sorted out shortly, and the rain only comes to where we really need it. On another note, let us talk about what the Hurricane Center is showing on their Atlantic discussion. So they've highlighted the tropical waves. One tropical wave across the Eastern Atlantic, another tropical wave across the Eastern Atlantic as well, another tropical wave, that same one that affected portions of Jamaica across the Central Caribbean, and it's definitely moving quickly westward. So it should be out of here by Saturday. Maybe some isolated showers still affecting portions of the island, maybe tonight into early Saturday morning. It's already that time, as a matter of fact. Now, if we take a look at the surface map of the Atlantic for this evening, well, for this night, for this early morning, we can see that the Atlantic is still being dominated by ridges of high pressure that we know is responsible for sending all of the easterly trade winds across the main development region into the Caribbean, not to mention the numerous tropical waves. And here are the tropical waves that the Hurricane Center highlighted across the eastern portions of the Atlantic. Two of them right there, and the other one across the waters now passing to the west of Jamaica. And if we take a look at the visible satellite images of the Atlantic before the sun went down, we can definitely see the clouds associated with that tropical wave definitely snuck up on us in the evening hours right there. We're definitely pushing from east to west, definitely brought that line of showers and thunderstorms, the squall line, heavy rainfall, and the very potent gust front, because the showers and the thunderstorms weren't that robust. It was definitely the very strong winds that preceded the thunderstorms associated with that squall line, and we know all of that has to do with a gust front, and we know gust fronts are the strong winds that come with these leading edges of these thunderstorms. We're going to be talking some more about that later on, but let us focus our attention on what was predicted in yesterday's video. In yesterday's video, we highlighted that we would have had some rainfall across sections of western Jamaica during the afternoon, and we definitely had that, as a post was made here on our Twitter page at Weather Jamaica, and they were also made on our Instagram page at Weather.Jamaica, on our TikTok page at Weather Jamaica, on our Facebook page at Weather Jamaica 876. So if you have one of those social media platforms, please ensure that you follow us there, as we may post throughout the day that you can't afford to miss. So the infrared satellite images were posted at around 2:46 p.m., highlighting the clouds, bringing some isolated thunderstorms to sections of Hanover, Westmoreland, and inland areas of some central parishes. So definitely a section of southern Trelawney, southern St. Anne, northern Clarendon got in on some isolated thunderstorms, and we even got some more across sections of Trelawney, St. James, Hanover, and Westmoreland even as the afternoon progressed. But as it turns out, in the evening hours on Friday, we definitely had that heavy thunderstorm activity associated with the tropical wave. And we saw the clouds coming into portions of eastern Jamaica. We see the high cold cloud tops as represented by the greens, yellows, oranges, reds, and the sparkling white dots that we know represent some amount of lightning strikes, if not lightning flashes. So we definitely had it coming into portions of St. Thomas and Portland first, then pushing westward into portions of Kingston, St. Andrew, St. Catherine, Clarendon, Manchester, St. Elizabeth, sections of St. Anne got in on it as well, Trelawney, St. James, Hanover, Westmoreland, to not so much St. Mary or Portland, but definitely these areas right here. We definitely had confirmation from our followers about what took place. But before we even go there, we know all of this had to do with a squall line, and the Met Office of Jamaica definitely highlighted that. And we know squalls definitely have to do with showers, thunderstorms, winds in general. It's just a fancy way to say thunderstorms. And we know thunderstorms contain lightning, thunder, heavy rain, heavy wind. So that's normal. But what was definitely potent about this squall line was the gust front that preceded it. So we had the very strong winds ahead of the thunderstorms, and sometimes the gust front is definitely stronger than the entire storm itself, because I got some good rainfall in St. Thomas, and it definitely rained in portions of Kingston, St. Catherine, but it didn't rain as much as it rained in my area. From what I heard, they definitely got some rainfall, but not tremendous rainfall to cause flooding. So more so, the gust front was the most significant part of this thunderstorm. And we know the gust front definitely brought damage. Heard news of downed poles, trees, power outages in numerous communities, and you can see some of that on some of the social media platforms out there. Crazy videos coming out showing the damage that was done. Some persons even highlighting the fact that it was worse than Beryl. We definitely have some comments coming in here from some of our followers on our Twitter page. Here we have Sean sitting currently in Spanish Town and showing a gif here, Cleveland being blown away. We can see Pabs here stating killer, how fast the wind pick up, square one tornado outside. Javon stating Maypen it reach. Avila underscore Gilisa stating this one came like a thief in the night. Manless forever it reached Clarendon too. So many comments to read, not much time unfortunately. On our TikTok page we have Harmony stating it's raining in Kingston where I am 38 minutes ago. L53823 stating the wind is very strong 4 hours ago. Stacian, very windy in Spanish Town, St. Catherine. Even on our Facebook page where the comments coming in, we have Regal Chica stating wind, light rain, zinc flying, power went but is back. Sashay stating heavy wind in St. Elizabeth, we not even get back light yet and this just make it worse and beyond depressed. At this point, Justly Campbell, a tree is sitting right on top of my roof right now. It was so scary. Sylvia Bando, windy at one point. I thought it was rain. Even on our Instagram page, we had a comment coming in. We have Deidra, my teacher, stating it's crazy in Portmore. Heavy winds, rain. What felt like dust just came out of nowhere. Nearly blow me away too, you know. And we have some more comments here. Chevy underscore Cardoza. It's crazy. It just came out of the blue. Heavy rain and wind. Ali underscore Ishi stating it's windy in Kingston. And even on our YouTube page we had the comments flooding in around that time. Hit netters 2588 watching from Spanish Town. Fun and joke aside, but I thought the world was ending. I didn't know this was coming. Maria Chong hyphen MK 6UE watching from Runaway St. Anne. Anya Bennett 2568. St. Elizabeth just had it too. Neil Davis 671 stating, I think it's a gust front or scoreline. Definitely a mixture of both, Mr. Davis. And if we take a look at See Jamaica's YouTube channel, at around the time that the gust front was definitely beginning, we see the crossroads cam here at around 8:03 p.m. and we can definitely see that the camera is having a hard time focusing because the winds were definitely starting to pick up. If we look closely on the road, we can definitely see some lots of garbage being blown here and there. Some persons running and trying to get to a safer spot. It was definitely a bad situation as the strong winds were picking up and kicking up the dust, as you can see right here, pushing it from right to left. It was definitely a bad situation unfolding. So that's what gust fronts do. The cold air is trying to rush off towards where the warm air is, and it's spreading out, and that was what caused the damage and the power outages in some spots. But if we look right now at the latest infrared satellite images, first of all, we saw what took place. The clouds coming in from the east definitely brought the thunderstorms to section of the eastern portion of the island. Section of St. Anne got in on the mix right there, and we can see that it even went over to portions of Hanover with some of the thunderstorms. But if we take a look at the latest infrared satellite image, and this image is as of 25 minutes past the hour, so this just came out what, a good 15 minutes ago if I'm not mistaken. You can still see that we have some leftover clouds across the island, some of it clearing out, still having some lingering isolated showers in some spots though. Unfortunately, the Cuban Doppler radar images aren't showing much because they've been glitching out from about what, 1 p.m., which is actually 12 p.m. Jamaica time on Friday, July 26th. So not much to see here, but what was taking place at that time across the island. But if we take a look at the Guantanamo Bay Cuban military radar, we can see what was taking place and what's happening right now. So we definitely had the rainfall across portion of the island. We can see the rainfall right there across portions of the waters between Haiti and Jamaica. More so light to moderate rainfall as seen by the blues and the greens, and we see that this map is definitely only showing portions of St. Thomas and Portland. But if we take a look here at the Cayman radar showing western Jamaica, we can definitely see what's happening. The rainfall definitely pushing west of the island associated with that tropical wave. We see the blues, the greens, the yellows represent light to moderate to heavy rainfall passing to the south of the Cayman Islands as we speak. So that indeed confirms what's happening. Not much happening across the island's western part right now. And if we take a look at the latest from See Jamaica's YouTube channel going live, we can see that even at 12:43 a.m. still a very busy halfway tree. Some persons still walking about at this hour, early Saturday morning. Cars going about their business still. See, even the area has dried up and it was definitely wet at around what, after 8-9 o'clock. If we roll back the time, we can definitely see definitely had some rainfall, some wet ground right there, and it definitely dried out. So it wasn't much in the way of rainfall. It was more so some very strong winds with that gust front. If we take a look at the temperatures right now, we can see that we have 26 degrees Celsius in both Montego Bay and Kingston, and by about 4 a.m., so a couple hours from now, temperature should dip down to about 25 degrees Celsius in Kingston and remain the same at 26 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay. Taking a look at the temperature forecast for Saturday in the daytime, this map from the GFS is showing 18 on Saturday, which is actually 1 p.m. on Saturday, and we see Jamaica right here embedded in some gold colors that we know represents up to 1 to 2 degrees Celsius above normal temperatures based on the key on the red. So we know the normal temperatures for the month of July are about 91 degrees Fahrenheit. When we take a look at the thermometer, 91 degrees Fahrenheit is about the same as 32.7 degrees Celsius. So we should be receiving anywhere from 32 to 34 degrees Celsius at most for Jamaica's temperature on Saturday. Especially with the passing of this tropical wave, it's definitely going to be hotter than normal on Saturday. So please ensure that you stay out of the sun during peak time and you stay hydrated. A lot of water than drinks than anything else. As relates to the Saharan dust forecast, this map is showing the forecast for 2 p.m. on Saturday. And we can see Jamaica right here, still embedded in some brown colors, and I'm sure that you saw the hazy skies today. The sky didn't look as blue. Definitely saw the milky whitish color to it, even in the horizon. We still have a lot more Saharan dust to come, and we see that portion of Cuba, Haiti, Dominican Republic, and the northeastern Caribbean are getting the brunt of it, that vigorous plume represented by the darker shades of browns. And we see that there's still more dust to come from Africa, but it's not as robust as what we're experiencing right now. And we're indeed grateful for that, because we know that by the time this gets to our area, it's gonna be dwindled down. So we have more blue skies than anything else, and we're indeed grateful for that. As relates to the wave forecast for tomorrow, still seeing those lighter shades of blues to darker shades of blues across the majority of the Caribbean. It represents anywhere from 0.5 meter wave heights to 1.5 meter wave heights, while the waters to the south of Jamaica are where we're seeing the highest wave heights. The purples represent up to 2 to 3 meter wave heights. And that's because the winds are going to be averaging anywhere from 5 to 10 to 20 knots across the Caribbean, gusting up to 25 knots. So we see the yellows to the south of Jamaica. We see the general direction for these winds coming in from the east, all courtesy of the high pressure ridge out there, all of the air spinning around it. If we take a look at the close-up of Jamaica in terms of the wind forecast for tomorrow, we can definitely see that yes, we still have the winds coming in from the east. So if we're going to be getting in on some rainfall, definitely coming in from off the sea to affect section of St. Thomas and Portland right here, Portland here, St. Thomas here. And then we see the least amount of wind should be across portions of western Jamaica. So all of the low level flow, all of the low level clouds, the cumulus clouds, definitely going to be building up when we have the daytime heating, the diurnal convection. So we might have some afternoon rainfall, mainly across western parishes in Jamaica. We'll see how that goes. Either way, the upper level winds are coming in for 18Z on a Saturday. That's 1 p.m. on Saturday. Upper level wind should be coming in more so from the southwest, so it should favor more of the thunderstorms across section of some northern and western parishes. We'll see how that goes. Either way, let's see the forecast for tomorrow morning. Well, for Saturday morning in general. So this is as of 6 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is actually 5 a.m. Jamaica time. We see the blues across eastern Jamaica. We're working with consensus. We're working with what the Euro model right here and the GFS model right here is showing. And we do see some blues across south central Jamaica for that time, but we don't see it on the GFS model. So we're just going to be working with what both of them are showing. Definitely eastern Jamaica, St. Thomas, Portland. As a matter of fact, I'm hearing rainfall still going on outside in my area in St. Thomas. So I guess this map is already verifying. Skipping ahead now to about 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is actually 9 a.m. Jamaica time. The consensus is even stronger for more isolated showers for sections of Portland and St. Thomas, and it could be that it's more cloud cover than anything else. It might not necessarily be rainfall, just some cloud cover, who knows. Either way, we'll take the rainfall. Then by afternoon now, this map is valid for 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is actually 3 p.m. Jamaica time, and we start to see some comparisons, we start to see some similarities, we start to see some differences. Now the GFS showing a spot of blue right here across the east, and some spots of blues across the northwest, maybe section of Westmoreland, Hanover, St. James with some afternoon isolated rainfall. Not much in the way of rainfall anywhere else, maybe some partly cloudy skies or sunny skies everywhere else. But look at the Euro showing spots of blues across the ECS, but across section of the west and across section of the central portion of the island. We'll see exactly what unfolds with that. Either way, we'll take it. because even although both accumulated precipitation forecast maps are showing that most of the rainfall within the next 24 hours should be across the east, and we're already getting in on that morning rainfall as we speak. We're in the month of July, so any rainfall that we get during this month will definitely take it. We're in the hottest month of the year, and we're actually in one of our dry periods. As we can see, Kingston's bar graph right here showing the rainfall in millimeters. We usually receive up to 50 millimeters of rainfall during the month of July. Montego Bay's bar graph right here showing up to at least 3.1 or 3.2 inches of rainfall during the month of July. Either way, we see that it's lower than the months surrounding it. So June and August usually bring more rainfall than July in general. And you can do the math by yourself. 1 to 2 inches of rainfall represents anywhere from 25 to 50 millimeters of rainfall. 1 inch of rainfall is 25 millimeters of rainfall. So you can do the math, and you can also visit weatherandclimate.com to find out about the rainfall throughout the year for your specific parish. Alright, so that is it for the forecast across Jamaica. Let us focus our attention on the rest of the Caribbean. So we can see the clouds right here associated with what's expected to come about and push toward the Caribbean and possibly develop. And we can see the clouds associated with the tropical wave that definitely lashed portion of the island today. Some clouds bring some thunderstorms to section of Central America as we speak. Section of Northern South America getting in on the action as well. And if we take a look at the northeastern Caribbean's Doppler radar images for today, well, for right now as a matter of fact, we can see some rainfall to the north of Puerto Rico, some rainfall to the south of Puerto Rico, some rainfall to the east, southeast of the US Virgin Islands. You can also see some rainfall right there to the north of Guadeloupe, to the south of Antigua and Barbuda. And if we take a look at the Barbados radar, we can see some rainfall coming into section of Martinique, isolated shores for section of St. Lucia, the Grenadine Islands and Grenada definitely going to be getting some more early morning rainfall, and even sections of Tobago, some more isolated shores, as well as sections of Trinidad. If we take a look at the wider view of Doppler radar images, we can see that rainfall that we just mentioned coming off of Jamaica associated with the tropical wave. We can see some rainfall right there between Florida, Cuba and the Bahamas. Some rainfall right there across section of Guatemala. Northeastern Nicaragua getting on some rainfall too. Northern Venezuela, section of northwestern Colombia, Suriname and French Guiana as well. And that relates to the amount of rainfall that's expected from now up until 10 p.m. on Saturday. We can definitely see more isolated showers in store for portions of the eastern Caribbean. So anywhere from the Dominican Republic eastward, we see these lighter shades of greens. Puerto Rico, the US and British Virgin Islands, Guadeloupe, sections of Martinique, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Barbados, St. Lucia, Trinidad and Tobago, Venezuela, Guyana, Suriname, French Guiana, Colombia, Panama, Costa Rica, Nicaragua, El Salvador, Guatemala, Belize, Honduras, sections of the Yucatan Peninsula, the Cayman Islands, Cuba, the Bahamas, and even sections of Florida. And if we look at both the Euro and the GFS models, we'll see that both of them are showing something similar. I know that when they're in consensus like this, the chances of it actually happening are much higher. Alright, so that's it for today. Thanks for watching.